Are you going to?
No.
Is it time to stick a fork in them? They're done.
The Rams.
Yep.
They were done 2 weeks ago. I told you they were done. I said, look, I told you. I've been telling you the last couple of weeks. I said, look, we put all our money into winning a Super Bowl last year, and they did it. I got to give them credit. They did it. And so I'm gonna tell you. To me, I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go on the low. I think it's gonna be 3 years for the Rams to have a good football team again. I think
3
it's gonna
years?
take that long.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean maybe 2, but 3 for sure. Yeah, I don't think that. I would be shocked if we could win 10 games and then like say next year, no, it ain't gonna happen. And the year after that, no, I think it's gonna be a while. I mean, just because of some of the moves we made, the money we've spent, some of the deals we've, given up draft picks. I mean, sometimes draft picks don't work out. I'd always rather have a guy that can play, than some of these rookies because you never know what you're gonna get. But I just believe that we kind of let it down. We didn't build our team around like an
big
offensive
fellas.
unit
Big fellas.
right, offensive unit or defensive unit. And one thing is, and I'm gonna go back to this, that Jared Goff deal that we did, and I said this to Chris yesterday. I said, and it's not. You never blame the player. It's not the player's fault. You take the money. When they paid Jared Goff after his, he was still on his rookie deal. They didn't have to pay him. Let him play it out. And if it costs you an extra $15, $20 million, cool. We're happy with that. That sunk us. Then all of a sudden, we go and we take Allen Robinson, another deal we didn't need. We didn't need that. They didn't shore up the offensive line. They didn't pay Aaron Donald right the first time. They should have paid him right the first time. Now we got to go back and redo that deal, which I mean he was worth it. Pay him right and be done with it. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a few things and that upper management has done. Just my opinion, that they didn't do right. And maybe it made a big difference. Maybe it would not have made a difference. Who knows? But right now, where we sit, we're in a bad place. We're in a bad place. I mean, we really are.
Yeah, and it's different than it was a couple of years ago when they had everything in place, right? And all it was the quarterback. All they needed is quarterback to come in because Whitworth was here. The offensive line was stable. It was good. So it was all about just getting a quarterback in here. Now the offense and I would say defensive line outside of Aaron Donald, offensive defensive line, that's not as easy to rebuild as all we need is a receiver or all we need is a quarterback. When you got to try to rebuild the offensive defensive line, that could take some time to do. It's not just one guy.
It's going to take some time. I mean, and think about this, Fred, and you too, right now, you know as well as I do. As great as Aaron Donald is, Aaron Donald's older every year. He's getting older every year, and that's part of football. That's that football life. I mean, he's not going to be the Aaron Donald he was 3 years ago next year or the year after. And where's he? How's he going to be perform with really, to me, in a sense, no help. If you getting double teamed, if they double teaming him, the other guys should be able to make plays, and it's not happening. I mean, it's not his fault. Aaron is still playing great. But like we don't have the guys up front on defense. We don't have that offensive line. We don't even have a running back that we're sure of.
Right.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean, and right now, I mean, a quarterback. I mean, he's getting beat up.
Well, he should be done for the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting beat. Right, he should be done for the year. He's got concussion protocol twice.
Multiple ones in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and same thing with Cooper Kupp should be done too.
Cooper Kupp is done.
Back.
Yeah, I mean, just like. All right, they did match. They did match deal. They gave him a new deal. I think didn't they give him a new deal?
Stafford
extended or something. Yeah,
you see, and that's what I was going to say, Eric.
They didn't have to.
Here's the thing. You know what? Good on anybody that gets paid. Okay, we'll start.
I'm happy with it. Right, I'm happy with the guys that get paid. I don't blame them.
But what are you thinking? Why would you do that? Well, he won the Super Bowl, so now we got to pay. No, you don't. He still has a deal, and he's still getting paid.
Yeah.
And you can use that money somewhere else. You don't have to give it to him.
Give him a bonus. You could put a bonus in later. We're gonna make it. If you win the Super Bowl, we'll give you extra $15 million or $20 million bonus, just a bonus. So, it doesn't count against the cap.
So Kroenke writes a check. Here you go. You won the Super Bowl. Here's $20 million.
Here's $20 million. Here's $20 million.
That's the old Eddie Barlow stuff.
Hey, no, Eddie would give it to you. Eddie would come in with cash, a briefcase full of cash.
Yes, he would. Everybody, everybody going to Hawaii. Let's go.
Everybody go. We got briefcase for everybody. Everybody sees a briefcase. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, Eddie, the stories they tell about Eddie, boy, he
man.
took care of the players.
Oh man, they loved him, man. They still love him. I mean, I wish I'd have had an owner like that. Golly, I mean, I've never played for. Best organization I played for, I guess, was my high school. Sealy High. Sealy High School.
Oh, you can't say that. I mean, the guys got paid pretty well at SMU.
Whatever. No, we didn't, Fred. Man, we got a couple $100 and some cars. I mean, shoes. That's it.
We got some cars. I mean, shoes.
A couple $100 and some cars. That's it.
Some cars.
Everybody had a new car on our team. That wasn't no big deal.
Okay, so
Did Jerry Ball have a car?
Jerry Ball had a car too. You know Jerry.
I know Jerry. Yeah,
Cool Jerry,
boy.
So what do you do if
you're way into anything?
So guys, what do you do if you're the Rams now? What do you do if you're Sean McVay? And what do you do if you're Les Snead? I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is done. I don't think Stafford plays again. I'm not in charge, but why would he? Go out there and get beat up more? Cooper Kupp, why rush him back for what? To get hurt again? Trying to rush back? Yeah. And they don't really have a backup quarterback.
No.
So, I mean, what do you do? Just take your beating like a man?
Yeah, you take the ass whooping like a man. Basically, you look at young players. You start looking at young players. You try to win out the season. You want to try to win. I mean, let's be honest. They're not going to be Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City going to beat up on them pretty good. I mean, the defense can't stop that offense. They can't stick. They just can't. We don't stop the run. I mean, well, I mean, we're not good defensively. We're not really good offensively. I mean, like I said before, we don't have an identity. I mean, you look at the football team. What's their identity? I mean, when last night when I watched the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs play last night, and the Chiefs got the ball back with like a minute 21.
You knew what was going to happen.
I said they're going to win this game. Yep. I mean, I said they're going to win this game, no doubt.
Too much time.
Too much time. The Chargers can't stop anyone on defense. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass for sure. I don't know. You hold Kelsey if you have to. You grab his ass and just hold him at the line of scrimmage. You don't let him out. I mean, you knew what was going to happen. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's certain teams are on going up and certain teams are going down. But that's just football. I mean, that right? That's how it is. Let's look at the Patriots. Think about the Patriots a couple of years. When they had 6 years ago, they were the hot team. The Patriots, and the Patriots they went through their cold spurts also. I mean, that's just how football is. You're good for a couple of years and then you're bad for a couple of years.
Yeah, and the thing is, and you say it all the time, Fred, is that in this town, you got to go for it, and they went for it. So you got to appreciate what the Rams did. But also in this town, people got short memories.
Yes, right? Sure do.
They like, oh, you won the Super Bowl last? It was just last year the Rams won the Super Bowl. And any other place, if that was Cleveland, they'd be celebrating that Super Bowl for 10 years. It would be like it wouldn't. They could go what 4-13 for the next 5 years, and people be okay because they won that Super Bowl. Whereas here, you got to be relevant, and you got to be relevant. You may have a down year this year, but next year the Rams gonna have to be right back in the conversation, or people gonna, start jumping off again. So how do you fix it? How do you fix it when they've given up the draft picks? It's tough because their problems are with the offensive line as a whole, the defensive line, and as ED pointed out, them double teams take their toll on a guy that's getting older in Aaron Donald. Having a guy on the other side that takes some of that pressure off him, he doesn't have that this year. Mm-hmm. And so it's evident. Same thing with Jalen Ramsey. He's looking a little bit older this year. And just not the same defensively that they can't hold up. And then, again, with the quarterback situation and them not being able to run the ball, them getting beat up because the offensive line. I think they said a stat the other day in their game that they have not played with the same offensive line consecutive games all season long. Nope. It's been a mixture of different guys. You can't win that way, Fred.
Yep, you can't win.